Ice fishing in the UP usually means perch or bluegills, walleye or pike. What in the heck is a burbot?
They're not fun to clean, but they do taste good.
And we're back in the blacksmith shop for part 2 of our knife project. 9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. A while back, I had the opportunity to visit with Pat Magdaleno of Mag's Custom Rods for a look at how custom rods are built. I met up with Pat again and had the chance to see his rods in action on Lake Superior night fishing for burbot. So what is a burbot? It's the only freshwater cod-like fish. It's also known as freshwater ling, lawyer, ling cod, eel pout, and a variety of other names. During the summer months, burbot are typically found in colder water below the thermocline. In Lake Superior, they can live in depths below 1,000 feet. Between December and March, burbot migrate to near-shore reefs of sand and gravel to spawn. It looks like a cross between a catfish and an eel. Its serpent-like body is distinguishable by a single whisker. I'm told it tastes a lot better than it looks.
So we're out here tonight on Lake Superior. Gonna do some burbot fishing, but I'm gonna put out a couple tip-ups and with a big bait on it, see if we can't get something big. Then we're gonna jig for burbot in the shack, fishing about 70 feet of water. I'm gonna put a small whitefish on this tip up. Never know, I might get a big pike or big lake trout, even a giant burbot. Put him on a quick strike, set him on the bottom, see if we can't get something big. I'm using a Swedish pimple, maybe 3/4 ounce, tipped with a couple minnow heads. And big thing is you gotta get a glow jig. I'm just using a bigger pimple because we're fishing 70 feet and it's nice to get it down fast. Usually I only fish 30 to 40, but fish have been on a little deeper. Pretty much any jig with a cut bait or anything like that, you'll get them. Burbot aren't too picky. They're pretty good eating too. They look pretty nasty, but I was hesitant to try eating them for a while, but when I first tried, it's really good. I boiled it and then sauteed it in butter. A lot of people like to deep fry them, and they say cheap man's lobster, so it's pretty good. I like it.
Yes, it's that simple. Get your 906 Outdoors Cooking Wild Seasonings today at cookingwildseasonings.com.
Yeah, I'm using a 36-inch medium heavy, actually bait caster with a spiral wrap setup where the guides start on the top of the blank and you turn them 15 to 30 degrees until they're on the bottom, and You just get better torque out of the rod, and this is actually the first ice rod I've made like that. I haven't even caught a fish on this one yet, so we'll see how it works. Oh, there's one. Oh, sweet. Perfect. Seems like a pretty good one. Yeah, he's right here. There he is. Burbot. Not too big. Smaller one. That'll be dinner tomorrow. Yeah, they're just different fish. Just lip them like a bass. Kind of look like an eel. All they do is eat on the bottom. Slimy. They're not fun to clean, but they do taste good. That's probably on the smaller side for Lake Superior, but it'll eat. That's the first fish I've ever caught on this rod, and it felt amazing. I made this rod. I'm going to Lake Erie here in a couple of weeks, and got a medium heavy for walleye. Bait caster, picks up line really good. Spiral wrap. Yeah, it felt really good. I'm gonna set up this iFish Pro. I'll show you how to use it. I haven't caught a fish on it yet, but I just got it the other day. I like catching fish on a rod more than a tip up. I'm just using a sucker. I was walleye fishing yesterday and just using the dead suckers, and it seems like dead bait works better than live. For burbot, just sit it right on the bottom. Pretty much any kind of cut bait will work good. Little treble hook and some weight. Sit it right on the bottom. And it's nice because you have your depth marked every time. It just stops right at the bobber stop. Fishing about 70 feet. I'm gonna put this one right on the bottom. Usually those burbot are sitting right on the bottom, if not a foot or two up. Usually get them on cut bait or minnows, or pretty much eat anything. Kind of a weird looking fish, kind of like an eel. If you can get on a good bite, it's pretty fun catching them. Usually bite at night. I've only caught a couple during the day ever, but at night they seem to feed really good. And I believe tonight's the full moon, so we should be able to get into them. See, that's at the bottom there. You mark your bottom with the bobber stop. Right there. Slide your line through there. Put the flag down, and you put your little clip, and your bobber stop goes through a little hole and it stops there. When you get a bite, just pulls that clip and you leave your bail open, and it just takes line freely. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully we can catch fish on it tonight. We'll see how they work. That's what they're feeding on. Just marking them all over the Vexlar, and they're just gorging on the smelt. We'll use him for bait. Little smelt that swam up the hole. we're getting some action. Full moon burbot bite tonight. A small one. These are hard to even get a hold of. They're so slimy. Little baby burbot. That one can go back.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works.
Rapid River Knife Works is the largest custom knife factory showroom in Michigan. The 10,000 square foot showroom is awesome. Hunting knives, pocket knives, and kitchen knives. Watch your custom knife being made and engraved. Free laser engraving with your personal message or company logo. Lifetime warranty on every knife and free sharpening. Plus, visit Rapid River Knife Works gift shop for Stormy Cromer and RRK gear. Bring the family and visit Rapid River Knife Works today.
If you're ice fishing from a shack, you know that moving from one spot to another is not an easy task. Here's a little tip on finding just the right spot.
One of the best places for a beginner to locate a good spot is weed edges. What happens is that your bigger predator fish will follow that. And on the one side you've got the weeds, and on the other side is deeper water. And what they're looking for is to get any type of small fish out in the deeper water, and they scoot to them and scare them out in deeper water, and they're easy prey then. Anytime you've got some type of cover for your predator fish and cover for the bait fish, you're going to get, the two are going to collide somewhere along the way. So, you can be there above there with your decoy down and waiting for, that situation to create itself.
Let's see. There we go. That's pretty cool. I'd much rather use that than a tip up. Feels like a decent one. Yeah, that took a pretty good sized sucker down. That's cool though that thing worked. Oh yeah, little whiskers. I'll eat that one. Just a fat belly. That's all they do is eat. They're not fun to clean. They're a mess. They're slimy. But they're good eating. If you boil them with sauteing in butter, they're really similar to lobster. But you deep fry them, they're really good too. Yeah, I'd say they're kind of like cod. But they're... A lot of people won't even try them just because of the way they look. But I'll eat them. I wanted to get one on this. It's always good to have the right rod for whatever type of fishing you're doing. Like right now I'm fishing, pretty good sized jig in 70 feet of water. I'm running braid, no stretch, pretty stiff rod so you can get a good hook set. And just so you're catching bigger fish, you want a heavier rod. Like right here, if you're fishing panfish, I got a nice panfish rod here. This is an ultralight, probably bluegill perch. I put a glow bead on the tip for low light conditions. You can still see the bite really good. It's a nice light action for panfish. And then I got a medium heavy right here set up on this iFish Pro. It's good for walleye, deep water jigging. I always run braid in deep water, so there's no stretch. See if we can get one on that. Then I also have a power noodle. This is also a panfish rod too. It's got a light tip but really good backbone, so if you're fishing deep water panfish, You can still see that really light bite, but it's got the backbone to get a good hook set in it too. So just all kinds of different rods for different types of fishing. Now that I make them, I can have multiple of everything, but just different tools for different jobs. Bait caster. I like fishing bait casters a lot. They pick up line fast, especially for deep water. You know, one crank is like 3 of those on a spinning reel, and it's just easier for me. Oh yeah, there we go. Pretty good one. Midnight fish right here. A little slower bite tonight. Oh yeah. Biggest one of the night. Oh, tail first. Last one is the biggest. Yeah, well, it's past midnight and we got fish. We're gonna call it a night. Could have done better, could have done worse, but we got some nice fish.
.906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by the Island Resort and Casino.
Experience the excitement this football season. Be where the action is. Bet America Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Visit T McC Sports Bar to browse the latest lines and betting options, or build a bet on your time using Bet Builder online. Find everything you need to know on the Sportsbook page at islandresortandcasino.com. So grab your friends and get in on the action, because there's a new game in town. Bet America Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino.
It's time to check back in with George at the blacksmith shop for part 2 of Forging a Knife.
Now the next step is going to be I'm going to grind this down, so it'll look pretty much the way I want it when the blade is all completely done. Clean this blade up and shaping it, then eventually polishing it to the final polish. Then I'll put my stamp in it. Then after that, then we'll harden it. Then we'll draw a temper on it. Because once we harden, it'll be too hard for a knife blade. And at that particular point, if you hit it on something, it'd probably break. And so we got to draw some of the hardness out of it. So now we'll start grinding away on it. Should be good. That's the starting of the grinding. And I usually leave this part here for the belt sander. I got a nice flat platinum on there, and that'll clean it up real good. Whereas if I go on a round wheel, I can't get it nice and square like I can on there, or nice and flat, I should say. This particular grind here, I've been doing this for quite a while, making it like this. There's other knives out there that have something similar to that. Of course, I don't think they do them by hand, but I kind of think that improves the looks of it, and then it gives it more strength too. And then we're gonna start working on it with the belt sander now. This rubber here, that cleans the belt. we'll go to a finer grit. A lighter grit, or 150. Now we'll go to a 220. Now I'm going to go to a 320 grit. Now we'll go to 600 grit here. Now we're going to use 800 grit. Note the sanding with belt sander. We went down to 800. This the final sanding was 800. So now we're going to buff it and see how many scratch. We're going to buff, but I'm going to be buffing with 3 different grits. I'm going to start out with the coarse, then go to the finest. And each wheel I have is numbered, so I don't mix up the wheels with the grits. And the grits are all numbered for 2. Cleaning the wheel up, so I'm able to take more. It'll take more compound that way. Now I'm going to go to a lighter grit. I'll finish up a little bit more yet, and it's pretty much done. It's pretty close to being done. Now, the next step I'll do before I do the final buffing. That's about right. Quite centered. That means you can tell it's handmade.
Be sure to check back next week as our knife gets one step closer to a work of art.